Hey, you're watching Stryk TV, Backstage Access. Hey, we'd like to thank the fine folks at Select Power Sport, your friendly neighborhood Kawasaki Yamaha dealer. Go see Bobby Joe where the blacktop meets the checkered flags. And the Courthouse Whistle Stop Cafe, located at the historic downtown Livingston. Hey, you eat yet?
What's up, guys? Hunter Hayes here. You're watching Stryk TV.
Angela here, Stryk TV, and I am so excited to be bringing you this special talented guy, singer-songwriter, and it's really not an interview, y'all. It really isn't. This is like a homecoming to me, to my family, and here's the wonderful Hunter Hayes. Welcome to Texas, buddy.
You mean welcome back?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I know, it's been a long time.
Way too long. Are you kidding me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's been way too long. We're good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Just got back this morning, just flew in. So.
That's all right. You're safe and sound, that's all that matters.
Yep.
We're going to be hearing some great music later tonight, so that's a good thing.
No pressure. Got it? Okay.
Well, okay, first off, how's the family?
Good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. We're fixing to do the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, which is Lafayette, Louisiana, my hometown. So, I grew up there, and I went to every concert I ever went to was in the Cajun Dome, and so it's like, finally getting to go back there and hang out, and play a show in the Cajun. This is actually the first legitimate time I've played a show in the Cajun Dome. I've done like a couple of conventions and things like that, or like one actually, but I've never actually played a show in the Cajun Dome. So I'm excited.
You're excited. That's good. That's good. Well, we know that they were a big part in your early years growing up. I mean, we saw them everywhere. Your dad would be hauling out the equipment and hauling it back in. I mean, it's just those little moments. And then to think, here we are tonight in Houston, Texas. You're going to be on stage, the Carrie Underwood show.
At the arena, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how's that feel?
Well, what's really cool is they don't get to come out nearly as much as I wish they could. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's working and doing their thing, but when they do come out, it's interesting because like they see the growth in these sort of time-lapsed moments. You know what I mean? It's like it goes from a bus and a trailer to a bus and a truck and to 2 buses and 2 trucks, and the whole crew's just getting bigger, and we got so many people working with us now, and a huge staff and a huge team, and it's cool, I think, for them to see that, and to kind of to celebrate it with me, because it's like we dreamed about all this stuff for a long time,
Well, we knew when we first met you back at the Crawfish Festival in Spring, Texas, on that little stage.
Yep.
We kind of handled the sponsorship there, so we're like, hey, what do you mean, Leo? He's on the little stage, and my husband's going, no, buddy, he's going to be on the Texas stage, the big stage.
The big one.
And here you are, you're right.
Hey, yeah, the stage has gotten a little bit bigger lately, yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat walking down the ramp. You're walking down the dock ramp, going all around, figuring out which
trucks and
yours.
buses on each side.
Yeah, I love it.
Lined with gear and stuff. Yeah.
Well, Hunter, we've watched you grow up with some of your heroes. Now we've seen you, the Keith Urbans. He's brought you on stage.
Yeah, Keith.
We watched you on Dancing with the Stars with Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Stryk TV's playing your video, Fay Dodo, with Eddie Raven and Joel Sonye, buddy. You're this tall, cute. You're still cute. Yeah. I mean, how's that feel? I know you've got a new video, a new song, I Want Crazy.
New tune, yeah.
So kind of go into that. I mean, how'd that song come about?
Crazy was a song, I don't believe that records, I just believe that records are more than just a sort of thing you release and sort of talk about. For me, all my favorite artists, especially in country music, they're sort of chapters, right? Because that's what country music is all about to me. Is the connection, is the story, is the truth, right? And so we kind of got to halfway through sort of promoting, or whatever you want to call the typical life, or whatever the time is for a record, and we all kind of just met together and we were like, we're not quite done with this yet, and we're calling this we're releasing the new deluxe edition of the album called The Encore. And the reason we call it The Encore is because I very much so feel like, when I come off stage, off a crazy, a crazy show, no pun intended, of course, with the crazy thing, but when I come off stage of a crazy show, you know, the first thing we do is we get on the side of the stage and we're like, please let them ask for an encore, please let them ask for an encore, because the first thing you want to do is go back on stage and play more. Mm-hmm. And you don't really have a plan for that. You don't really have that in the set list. Sometimes you do, most of the time you don't. Right. And I think that's kind of what this deluxe edition of the album was. This was not something we intentionally went in the studio and said, this is what we're going to do. I mean, Crazy, honestly, wasn't written with the rest of the songs that ended up on the deluxe edition. And so it sort of feels like it belongs to another album, or it did for a little while. And so we cut it that way, but then we realized it just needs to be with this album. And I don't know, it's very, very different for me, because I'm a very traditional view on a record, and the whole deluxe package thing was a bit of an adjustment for me to make, to be totally honest. But once we finished in the studio and Crazy came out the way it did, we all just kind of felt like, man, this really kind of just fits with the debut record. It says what we want it to say, and I love the song. I think it's the most excited I've ever been to release a song, and already everybody's been really good to us with the song, and I'm freaking out about this. Is the most I've ever freaked out about a song like this.
Really?
Oh my gosh, this is the most energy we've ever put into this, and so it's like. I think Crazy is a fun summer song for us to go play. You know, I get to play a bunch of really cool outdoor shows this summer, which is what I'm used to doing. So it's like I'm right back at home. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And and going into that with Crazy and with this sort of encore edition of the debut album, you know, I couldn't be more excited than I am right now about everything. Yeah,
definitely. Now on the instruments. You're playing all the instruments on that as well?
On the encore, I did something different. Because you know, the one thing I love that I've found recently, and that's after demoing stuff in the back of the bus with the band. You know, I got a little studio in the back of the bus, and the band comes in and we demo stuff together. And I think I found out that one of my favorite things in the world is collaboration. And obviously, playing everything on a record doesn't lend you to collaborate a whole lot. And so I specifically found names in a couple of records that I loved. Of musicians that played certain things, and we called them out. And we said, okay, this is random, this is off the wall, but we want you, to come in and be a part of this tracking session for whatever it was going to be, right? Because we didn't really have the plan, and so so I called in a few guys, and people like Neerzy is a drummer that I heard on a record that I loved, and Paul Franklin's a world-renowned steel player. I mean, he's one of the most recorded steel players, if not the most recorded steel player, and the band guys came in and did a bunch of really fun stuff too, which was like, it felt like right at home, and I up to like I redid a song on the original record, What You Gonna Do When I'm Gone, with Ashley Monroe. She came in and did a duet kind of thing, and I think that's what the song really needed. And Jason Mraz came in and sang Everybody's Got Somebody But Me with me, which that song kind of felt like his kind of tune, so I'm really glad that he was open to check it out and sing a bunch of stuff on it. It's fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's next? You have all this stuff. I mean, okay, let's go back on the instruments. Now, you've had many celebrities that actually give you instruments. Not really a gift. You could say they're blessings, because you just do so well with instruments, whether it's guitar, drums, whatever.
I'm just really bored all the time, so that's all I
do. So Robert De Niro, what did he give you?
Robert Duvall, you mean?
Duvall.
Yeah, same thing.
Let me say that.
No.
What Robert Duvall
No,
give you?
Mr. Duvall was, came to Louisiana and shot a movie, and he gave me my first guitar. Yeah.
And then Hank Jr.?
Hank gave me my first mandolin, which both of which actually proved to be some of my favorite tracking instruments. Obviously, as you can hear on Crazy, it's pretty much all you hear.
That's amazing.
It's the two of them. So yeah.
But we can't forget the most important from your grandma.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the
accordion.
My first instrument was accordion, yeah, and then it was drums, and then the guitar came in, and I feel like the guitar kind of quickly became my home, because that's what I write everything on, and that's what I relate to the most, and that tends to be the thing that we start tracking first, so it kind of became home for me, yeah.
I like the story where you were in the back playing the accordion. They had the radio on, and they cut the radio off, and they're like, wait a minute, where's that sound coming from? It's Little Hunter. It's still playing. I love that story.
I like making noise. I liked making noise even when I was a kid, or a younger kid, a more. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
It's a great noise.
It was an early morning for me. I'm still adjusting to it.
You're all right. Well, you're a great guy. We've known you since you were 5 years old.
It's been a while.
And I mean, just the energy that you had back then, the passion, the soul for your music. It's songwriting. I mean, you brought me and Mom on the bus one time. You were 6 years old and you're like, hey, listen to this song, y'all. See what you think. And it was so awesome. And now that we sit here in Houston, Texas again, get ready, you know, with Carrie Underwood. It's just great.
Yeah.
You know, we wish you the best. And,
it's fun.
You know, my dad, he's not with us anymore, but you made his life when he was in the hospital and you called him that day. He was just like so happy he couldn't even talk. So I appreciate you doing that.
We love you guys, and you know it's because of, you know, people like you guys who've been there from the beginning, and you know, everybody watching. You know, it's like I do what I do. I write my music. I love making music, and I live for it. But you know, it means nothing until it means something to somebody else. And so you guys make me feel like I'm doing something right.
Well, Hunter, we love you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I'm Angela, and this is
Hunter Hayes,
my buddy. Thank you. You're watching Stryk TV.
Yeah. Who wakes you in the morning comes? Who calls you every late night? Who comforts you when you're in need? Who always tries to treat you right? Who gives you all he has to give? Who would dedicate his heart to you? Who fulfills all his promises? And who sees good in you? Tell me what you're gonna do